Hi, this is Islamic Dad here. If you enjoy this channel, please subscribe. It does help me out. Tonight, I felt compelled to make a video on the subject of the narcissist core and their persona, their mask, etc. One of the things that I used to think was that, in spite of everything that the narcissist was doing and how they were, going along through life, that even though they had this empty core, that there was still like a person. So you'd have like this internal person who felt this pain, this internal person who had this emptiness that they were trying to fill, and that because of their trauma and being able or not being able to face life directly, they created the mask and they go through life. And I just kind of don't think that's correct any longer. And what kind of spurred me in this direction is that I've heard examples and also seen firsthand the extent to which a narcissist will change. For example, it's one thing to hear about or experience, like say in the love bombing phase, how the narcissist will mirror you and will say, "Oh my gosh, I really like that too," and find commonalities and really harp on them. And that's the thing, is like previously I thought that was it, that the narcissist was kind of going through the things that you liked, you or are interested in, and trying to find commonalities that kind of fit with their personality. They might have to adapt a little bit, but it wasn't like a huge stretch or anything. And I just don't think that any longer. I think that was, maybe even naive of me, and that what I've seen is absolutely extreme to where so for instance, you might have somebody who, I'll take like my ex-wife, for example. She was really into Brit-pop, kind of 90s alternative stuff like Hole, Pulp, Blur, maybe even some Chemical Brothers thrown in there. But, really into kind of like the more dancey pop, that was really popular in the 90s. And that was kind of her like mainstay as far as like what she enjoyed listening to. And, it's stuff adjacent to that, like maybe the Cranberries, comes to mind. And, then when she went through her midlife crisis and went full malignant narcissist, that was one of the things. Immediately, like, her taste in music just completely changed, and she was listening to what my kids referred to as strip club music, which was the dirtiest, nastiest, most vulgar hip hop imaginable, where every line is just obscene and kind of like makes your jaw drop because it's so vulgar and gross. And that was what she listened to 24/7. Same thing with her, style of clothing, her hair. I mean, she's completely changed her hair. She went from eating normally to not eating at all. She dropped like 70 or 80 pounds in a matter of months, it seems like. But also just like, vaping, I could go on. But I mean, and I've seen similar things with my, my covert narcissist ex. Same type of thing, where just this like drastic change. And so, I mean, this is like this is a hypothetical example, but it would not surprise me to have a narcissist who is a vegetarian, and she finds this guy who say is, attractive and popular and charismatic and rich and, just the dream guy. And he's a, heavy meat eater. I mean, he just eats meat every meal all day long. That, being a vegetarian, previously that was like a value she held that was important to her. I mean, it was very key to her character. And once she met this guy, in order to like kind of, vet, love bomb, and move in that direction, she would just stop being a vegetarian and just start eating meat every meal. And like that's a very drastic example, but I stand by it. I mean, I can see a narcissist doing something that drastic based upon the drastic things and the drastic changes I've seen the narcissist in my life do. And, I mean, it goes beyond, it goes beyond like superficial things. It might go as far as like, say, political viewpoints, philosophical viewpoints, kind of approaches to relationships, just you name it, and they will switch in order to, meet the ideal person in every single way that the target would like. And it is because of that that I have come to the conclusion that there is no inner self to the narcissist. Because, I think we can all agree that if you have like an inner self, that is where your morals are going to be, your ethics, the things that you find characterize you as being a human being, an authentic person, meaning different from other people. And I don't think narcissists have that. I mean, I now think that the narcissist is basically a void with no inner person. I think they're literally just a void with this mask. And that's the funny thing. Like, I don't think there's a person inside changing, modifying the mask or anything like that. I think it's just the void, and then they, find their target, their other person to become, and they just change the mask, without any thought about it, authenticity or integration to the previous person. Whereas before they were a vegetarian, now they like meat. Whereas before they were, a Marxist, now they're a fascist. I mean, just, whereas before they liked 90s Britpop, and, now they like dirty hip hop. And just, across the board, there is nothing that the narcissist will keep. There's no part of the narcissist that I think that they'll say, no, this is important to me. This is a value I hold, and I'm going to maintain that value or that character trait throughout my life and throughout my relationships. I don't think that anymore. I think they're just completely empty, just voids, and that they have no center at all. And I mean, and the implication is, as you can probably piece together, there's no moral center. There's no sense of ethics. The idea of having integrity, anything like that, anything tied to, core values just does not exist. And before, and even like some videos and stuff you read, they'll use the phrase like, the narcissist is acting and stuff like that. I don't think so. I do not think that the narcissist is acting, because that implies that there is a person behind the mask. I no longer think that. I think there's void in the mask, and the mask changes depending on the target, but there's no person in there saying, oh, I'm actually a vegetarian, but I'm going to act like I like meat. Or, oh, I really like country music, but I'm going to act like I like, EDM or something. Like there's no acting, there's no pretending. There's the void, and then there's the mask, and that is it. And there's nothing else. It is not an act. It is not pretending. That is the persona that the void is wearing, and that void will change that persona throughout their life, from one person to the next, target by target. And I don't think anything continues throughout their life, as far as like any type of like core values or character traits. So yeah, I mean, I just once I realized that, I was so disgusted thinking about the narcissist in my life, because before I had a little bit of sympathy. I'll be honest, based upon the childhood of the narcissist, I had some sympathy for that child, and I don't any longer. Because that child's gone. There's nothing left of that child. There's no inner person. There's no inner child. That inner child, it was annihilated by the narcissist. And now there's only a void and a mask. And because of that, at this point, I have no sympathy at all for the narcissist. I don't care. They had a bad childhood. Who doesn't? So yeah, just thought I'd make this video because I kind of felt compelled to. Thanks.